rests, and I'll be back in as soon as I can. Okay, lovely ladies. So, getting my pillow, grab your pillow, and we're actually going to start in a kneeling position today because there's so much going on for people's digestion. It's going to make sense to get really comfortable in quite a high kneeling position. So if you've got something that resembles a bolster, one of these beauties, you can just slide it all between your legs. Feels a little bit like you're horse riding on a very narrow pony. And then you can just sit on the bolster. That's kind of super, super comfy. It might be you've got pillows like this and you can kind of fold them in half. I'll see if I can demo. Folding a regular pillow in half, placing that between your legs, and probably doing it again. I'd probably get a second pillow and fold it in half and place it on top of the first pillow. So you've just got as much height and lift underneath your bottom, and your calves and thighs don't feel squashy. So if you need two pillows like a bolster, you can also go for a third option where you've made your little bolster between your legs. And if that still feels a bit squashy, get a third pillow, fold it up and stick it under your bottom. So we've just got the most amount of height. The calves and the thighs definitely don't feel squashy. Our feet, our toes are going straight back behind us. So don't let them point out to the sides, because that's going to do your knees and your hips in. So toes going straight back. It might mean when you get here, if you haven't sat in this position for a little while, that actually if your ankles or your knees are a bit sensitive, you might need to put a nice big fluffy blanket down underneath so you've got even extra more cushioning. So just take another minute if you're uncomfortable to put that blanket in place and get really, really comfortable. And then when you're ready, we're going to just feel a little bit taller already through our lovely kneeling position. And kneeling is really great because we're just working gently on a pressure point in the thigh. If you put your hands down on your legs, the heel of your hands is going to connect into a pressure point that you can rub up and down or just lean into. And that's just said to be really helpful for digestion, for heartburn, indigestion, constipation, nausea. You guys were mentioning them all today. So just having a little lean into the hands and then just releasing the hands, sitting and kneeling is brilliant. So perhaps throughout today, the weekend ahead, into next week, if you're feeling queasy or any of those digestion ailments, just come into kneeling and sit in kneeling for 5 or 10 minutes. Sit in kneeling before you eat. You can sit in kneeling whilst you eat, and you can stay here for 5-10 minutes after you eat, because it just gives you loads of space for really good digestion. So we're going to just make sure that our little tailbones are just very gently almost sticking out behind us, just a little bit, and that we can then lean into our sit bones and start to feel the whole of our spine stacking like a building block, one vertebrae on top of the other. Last thing is the head, and we just want to feel like we're leaning back against an imaginary wall, just ever so slightly. And then we can begin to relax down through the front of the body, relaxing the thighs and the face. Now you can just have your hands resting on the thighs. It can feel really lovely here just to fold one hand into the other hand and just snuggle the bump. So just give your babies a little cuddle today. And then just drawing the chin down a few degrees, we're lengthening the back of the neck up to the ceiling, feeling a little bit tall out through the crown of the head, closing the eyes or just peering softly through the eyelashes, and taking a lovely big deep breath here. And exhale. And another deep breath in. And exhale. And keep going with this breath for another half a minute or a minute or so. Breathing full breaths into your belly, through the nose if you haven't got a cold. And then lovely long Darth Vader sighs through the mouth. Sighing from the back of the throat, as if you're steaming up a mirror to give a mirror a bit of a clean held in front of your face. Good. Make these the biggest, fullest breaths that you've taken all week. And can you send that inhale all the way down into the tummy, into the hands, letting the hands expand out, letting the belly fill. And then just sighing for a little bit longer as you squeeze every drop of breath out of the body. And as you breathe slowly and deeply into the belly, so somewhere else, give your attention to relaxing every muscle in your face, around the eyes, into the jaw, down into the neck and the shoulders, just softening, down into the elbows, letting the hands feel heavy in the lap, so all of the arms are empty. Keep breathing. Let your weight pour down into your bottom, moving down the thighs, into the knees, down into the shins and the calves, down into the ankles and the feet. And just having that sense of contact, having that sense of resting your body upon the earth. And we're going to stay with the hands where they are and just move in to a little bit of alternate nostril breathing. So we're just going to use our mind's eye. We're going to feel the first breath come in through both nostrils and out through both nostrils. And then see if you can feel all around the right nostril as you inhale. And exhale through the left nostril. Well, don't worry if you feel like you're still exhaling through the right or both, but just see if you can concentrate on one side at a time. Inhaling through the left nostril and exhaling right. Inhaling back up the right side and exhaling left. Inhaling left side, just be really aware of the nostril. And exhale right. Inhale back up that side. Sit tall, breathe in. And exhale left. Sit heavy. Inhale back up the left side. So just keep concentrating on each side, even if you kind of can't quite feel it. And keep going with this pattern just for another few breaths. Relaxing the head and the body. Just concentrating on feeling that breath on one side of the body, back into the skull. And then coming down the other side of the body, down into the bottom and into the legs. I'm going to do one more round of breathing here. And exhale, as you exhale back down through the right side. So bowing the head down, sitting up straight. We're going to gently start to blink open the eyes. And then let's just give the hands a little vigorous rub while we're here. Good. So eyes level, hands out to the sides. We're going to inhale and just reach up tall, lifting up the ribs. We're going to lift up the shoulders today and bring the palms together. And then exhale as if you're moving through honey or treacle, gently pressing your hands back down to the earth, but as if something's resisting them. And then inhale, lifting up, spreading out with all 10 fingertips to touch the sides of the room. And exhale, pressing your hands back down into the floor, gently activating your feet, just gently pressing the tops of the feet to the ground. Inhale, lovely long, tall spine, fullest breath into the waist, into the tummy, into the chest. Exhale, squeeze every drop of breath out of your body. So we're moving back into birth breathing. We're breathing in through the nose if you haven't got a cold. And we're sighing from the back of the throat, that noisy, sounding, steaming up your sunglasses breath. So this is the breath we want to come to each and every time we find ourselves having a contraction. It's going to help us meet that sensation, concentrating on our breath, the sounds we're making. Will keep your mind quiet and peaceful and calm. And when our mind is quiet and peaceful and calm, so is our body. And that enables our oxytocin to increase and our body to just crack on with this big job of birthing. So the aim is to get our mind quiet and out of the way. Good. This time we're going to inhale. We're going to interlace the hands over the head and start to paint those lovely big circles on the ceiling. So we're really focusing on digestion today, making lots of space for all those internal organs to work properly, and also giving them a kind of little massage. So as you circle, notice what you feel around your ribs. Keep trying to grow up tall towards the ceiling. So you might be slightly pressing down into your feet, into your shins, and stay with your birth breathing. Find that rhythmic rhythm to your breath. Deep inhales in, deep inhales out. We're going to pause and change direction. Inhaling and exhaling. Really, really well done. One more breath here. And gently bring those arms all the way down. We're going to do a few soft shoulder circles. Taking the shoulders up to the ears, sweeping them back. All of this is lovely if you've been sat at a desk all week, just to get into this upper body, into your posture. Fantastic. And then bringing the hands into prayer position, press the palms together. Inhale, just lift the hands over the head. And then exhale, spread your fingers wide, elbows as far back behind you. Good, press the palms together, look at the thumbs. Inhale, exhale, drop the chin, open the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades down and back. Inhale, lift up through the front of the body. Exhale, opening the chest. So this is amazing for heartburn, just making all that space in between the heart and the top of the tummy, giving you that little bit of extra room for digestion. Another really good tip for heartburn is just to actually avoid Gaviscon and anything alkaline. Have some lemon squeezed in some water a few times a day. And by you upping your acid intake, it should kickstart your body to produce the alkaline that it needs to combat the acids. It can work wonders. So maybe have a little experiment and see if that might help with any indigestion or acid reflux today. Good, now we're going to take the hands all the way behind our backs, interlace them so the palms are facing in and peel open the shoulders. We're going to lift the arms up as high as we can and then little bounces with the arms, so just up and down with the hands. Little bounces just to open the chest. Inhale, lift your heart, big breath into the heart. Exhale, relax those shoulder blades. Relax your neck. So let the head feel a bit more released. Now we're going to lift the hands as high as we can and hold it there for a few breaths. Lifting up the heart, making space across the front of the body. Exhaling, sitting into our sit bones, relaxing the shoulder blades. Maybe lifting the hands another few millimeters or another inch. And gently release. Good. Little shoulder rolls here, releasing the head forward and back. Great, now we're going to turn the hands so that they're facing out to the side. So a good one for restless legs, restless arms. Start to circle the arms. Make it quite powerful as you stretch the middle finger away from you. Inhaling as you bring the arms up to shoulder height. So press down into your sit bones so you can sit up tall and breathe from your heart all the way out to your fingers. Power this up a little bit more. And then we're going to come all the way up one more time. Palms come back towards each other. Good. Keep breathing in and out. Now we're going to start to do this with the arms the other way. As your arms come down, the hands come back to facing the front. We're going to pause here at shoulder height. Notice if your shoulders are feeling a bit achy. See if we can take a big breath in, thinking I can do this. I am doing this. I am strong. I am calm. All those great affirmations that will be also helpful for birth. And then we're going to bring those arms all the way down. Relax out, shake out those arms, and a couple of lovely soft shoulder circles. Inhaling and exhaling. Great, so just relaxing the tummy here, hands on the knees. We're just going to do a few circles with the body, seeing how it feels to circle, leaning into the pelvis, leaning into the hips, relaxing your tummy. Good. Making your movements as big or as small as that's comfortable for you. Any kind of twanging, pulling, sharp sensations in the body, it's your cue to make your movements slower, smaller, more gentle, or maybe even stopping that movement if it's not agreeable for you. Fantastic, everybody, this looks great. And then we're going to pause and go the other way. Deep breath in, deep sigh out. Maybe close your eyes, get your focus inward. So this is a great move in labour if we're sat on our birth balls, doing lovely big circles as we have contractions, leaning the hands onto those thighs for a bit of support, taking deep breaths down into the belly. Good, helping the babies nuzzle down into the pelvis, getting that contact onto the top of the cervix to help just encourage things along. Good, now if you've got really good support here, I'm just going to do a little extra move today. I'm just going to bring one foot up. So we're in a kind of half squat. Make sure you've got lots of space in front of your bumps. Just see how that feels for you and for your hips. If you've had your SPD, we're just going to stay with one leg up and just see how that feels, just to maybe lean forwards, maybe see if you can feel something in the thighs, in the hips. Just see how it feels, because squatting can be really great when we're kind of in labour now, so you kind of want to save it for then. And if you're okay with one leg, you might want to bring the other leg up and just make sure you've got space between your bumps, between your thighs for your bumps. Now just have a little think about this. So what I want you to think about is if you turn your toes all the way out for a moment, can you feel your sit bones kind of move towards each other? So if you've got the toes out and the knees wide, the sit bones come towards each other and it makes a bit less space for the babies to come out. So earlier on, as the babies are kind of coming down the birth canal, this is a good move because they're coming into the pelvis. But when we're trying to get them out of the bottom end of the pelvis, if we're going to use a squatting position, you want your toes forwards. So just bring your toes forwards, and then can you feel your sit bones would have just winged out a little bit? And that's opening the outlet in the pelvis. So it's a bit tricky because it doesn't feel like we've got a huge amount of space. It's a really good tool for you to be aware of. So we can have the toes out and the sit bones coming in as the babies are coming down. And then when they're crowning and we feel like we really need to get them out, if you're using squatting, bring your toes in and feel your sit bones widen. You can use a bit of support on the knees, and that's going to open up the sit bones and make a little bit more space. So as we were here, I thought that was a bit of useful birth prep just to pop in. So ease yourself off your bolster now, and we're going to come around into lovely all fours, using blankets under your knees if you need a little support, maybe having a little sip of water if you're a bit thirsty because it's quite a hot day today. Good. Now we're going to work into some birth practices today. So on the knees just a little bit wider than hip distance, and on the hands spread nice and wide. If it gets too much for anyone, just drop down onto the forearms and take the practice down here to give your wrists a little break. Otherwise, we're just going to take the hands forward just an inch and bend the elbows so that you can use the whole of the hands and hopefully protect your wrist. Be careful the belly is not dropping to the floor, so we're not coming into a back arch across the back of the waist. So just send your tail away from your head, and then let's start straight away with our lovely circles. So closing the eyes again, drawing your awareness inward, start to get into your lovely birth breathing here. Deep breath into the belly, deep breath out, relaxing your tummies, and as you stir your body, feeling ease and relaxation around the shoulders. The shoulder blades are moving forward and back. Trying to really get into that movement in the shoulders first of all today. And then shifting your attention down into your pelvis. Start to really feel your pelvis circling. Do lovely big circles with your bottom. Said to help with dilation. And just keep breathing in and out. Now on the big day when we're actually giving birth, just stay circling in that direction that's most comfortable. But today, to even out the body in our practice, we're going to pause and go the opposite way. So as you circle the opposite way, send your attention back into the shoulder blades. Let the shoulders move and groove. Feel a bit of spaciousness around the bra strap, length around the neck, little bend in those elbows, and then sending your attention into your sit bones. Circling your bottom, almost sticking your bottom up in the air behind you as you roll back, just getting a little bit more spaciousness in between those sit bones. Thinking about that space that might well help your baby coming down and out. They can absolutely be born in an all fours position. It's a really great position. And then we're going to rest. So if you've got SPD at the moment or an achy pubic bone, just leave your legs where they are. Drop onto your arms and cross your hands and place your head on the floor. And just take a few sighs here. Or you can just come back to kneeling with the hands in prayer. If anybody wants to go a bit deeper with this, you can open your knees as wide as your mat. Bring your bottom down onto the knees and come down more into a child's pose with the arms long and the forehead down. Just be a bit careful of that. If you have got an achy pubic bone, the knees might be a bit too wide for you there, so you might want to take a different one where the knees are a bit closer together. Now, resting in between contractions, we shift the breath into golden thread breath. So I want you to imagine you're blowing out through a little hole in the lips, as if you're blowing out 100 birthday candles. And as you blow out that breath, really consciously think and feel the word relax. And let your whole body, just for a moment, melt down onto the mat. Letting all your tensions go. Just emptying onto the earth, softening the belly. Breathing into the belly still. And then blowing out the longest exhale you can. Thinking and feeling the word relax. We're going to take one more long exhale here. And then on your next inhale, gently coming all the way back up into your all fours. And we're going to move into figure of 8 move. So this time we're going to lead with the head and then let the body follow. So you're making a lovely figure of 8 movement as if you're drawing that number on your mat. And then once you've got the movements, again, send your attention into your bottom and stay with that shape. Lovely big figure of 8. It's a very important symbol, kind of an infinity symbol. Very auspicious in many cultures. And it's got a very particular way when we do this figure of 8 movement of allowing the right side of the brain to talk to the left side of the body and vice versa. So it helps the brain kind of get a bit scrambled. It's quite difficult to think conscious thoughts here. You drop into more of a meditative headspace. So let your head go a bit fuzzy as you breathe in and out, maybe with the eyes closed. Just moving and grooving your body, leaning back into those bottoms. Resting into the hands and knees. And then when you're ready, pausing and changing direction. And again, on the big day, you don't need to do this, but just to ease out the body, balance it out, changing direction. Taking your big breath in and your big breaths out. Just a couple more breaths here. And when you're ready, just finding your rest position. So either the child's pose, or just bringing the heads down onto the hands, or coming into a kneeling position. If you've got a bit of heartburn or indigestion, you might prefer to be more upright. But whichever one you choose, just spending a moment blowing out through that little hole in the lips. Golden thread breath. So we're feeling as if we're blowing out 100 candles. And in our mind's eye, we can visualize blowing out a beautiful strand of golden thread from the lips. You're blowing that away into the distance. Blowing out any tension, any fear, any negativity. Just do another lovely long exhale here, thinking and feeling the word relax, so the whole body softens. It's a really great way to kind of clear the decks, relax the body, prepare us for that next contraction. Good. And we're going to do one more little practice here today. So coming back up into your all fours, we're going to open the knees just a little bit wider. And we're going to come down onto the forearms. So when we're in labour, give the wrists a little break every now and again. Just come down onto the forearms and either do your circles here or do your figure of 8. So your choice today, whatever feels good for your body. Start to take that big deep breath into the belly. And your lovely big breath out as if you're steaming up your sunglasses to give them a clean. And then we're going to bring in a few oohs. So nobody can hear you, you're in your own space. Making sound is great in labour and things get a bit intense, but we don't want to go, ah, and you can hear why. It sounds too panicky, sets off alarm bells in the body, but oohs don't. So taking a big breath in, and when you're ready, ooh. It's a lovely long exhalation as we ooh, so it sends very calming signals around the body. I'm going to do that 2 or 3 more times in your own time. Deep breaths in when you need. Ooh. Keeping the sound long and low, quite low in tone. Feeling a sense of grounding as you ooh. Noticing how the ooh keeps your pelvic floor lovely and open. Whereas when we go, ah, everything engages and tenses, the pelvic floor gets a bit shut. So oohs are the sound for you to have up your sleeve. Write them on your birth wish lists so your birth partners can remind you to ooh. Brilliant. And then we're going to just inhale and just place the hands on the floor, tuck the toes under, and just come up into a kneeling position just to clear our heads for a moment. Hands into prayer, head bowed. Spread your toes wide as you take a big breath in and a big breath out. Good, one more breath here. Fantastic. Okay, so placing the feet back on the floor, I'm just going to come into kneeling, but not for too long. I'm going to do fierce goddess breath. So we're going to have the hands in prayer and just think about anything that's been getting you down this week, any niggly, annoying, irritating emotions or situations and how that's been making us feel. And then when we do fierce goddess breath, we're going to exhale, take the hands back. We're going to look up with our eyes and go cross-eyed and stick our tongues out as much as we can. So it's really a bit silly. It might make you laugh, but nobody can see you, and it will look like this. Okay, so we're going to do 3 of these breaths. It's really great for getting toxins out of the body and letting stuff go. So when you're ready, ladies, think about any niggly, annoying feelings that we want to just get rid of. Take a deep breath in and fierce goddess. And again, inhale. And one more time. Fantastic. Yay, well done. I only caught the end of that. Well done. Okay, so from here, we're going to come into our pigeon pose to start to give our glutes a little stretch. So very carefully from your all fours, just take your right knee up behind your right hand. Your leg's going to end up on a bit of a diagonal and your right foot will be somewhere in front of your left thigh. And then from here, take your hands forward about 6 or 8 inches and bend your elbows. And then slowly start to pick up the back leg and walk that back leg inch by inch away from you. So you begin to settle down, and you might find that hopefully you find your tummy is in front of this front leg. So you've got lots of space for your bump. And then you might find you can also just come down onto the forearms, press into the elbows and the hands, and relax the pelvis. Now to get into the right glute, the right bum cheek, you might have to have a little wiggle from side to side just to see where that lovely stretch is. A key little thing that you might find helpful is to bring the left hip forward and the right sitting bone back. So send your right sitting bone towards the back end of your mat and the front of your left hip towards the top end of your mat. And that little adjustment should get you into that right glute. Now you might well be feeling it in your thighs and in the front of the other hip. So just notice where you're feeling it. And as long as you can sit somewhere reasonably comfortable, we're going to hang out here and just breathe in and out for a few breaths, relaxing the pelvis and easing our way into it. Now, if it doesn't feel great for anybody, you can obviously come out, but the glute work can be really lovely. It can even be helpful if you've got SPD, because it can just stretch out across the glutes and the piriformis, and that can just help release things and enable stuff to come back into the alignment it needs to be. But you know your body, if anything feels too pulley, too pushy, and it's not for you, just ease yourself back out into child's pose, or one of the variations of, and just have a little rest there for a moment. Now maybe dropping into your golden thread breath here might be really useful. Blowing out the longest exhale you can, especially if you feel this is giving you a bit of a challenge. And sometimes that challenge in pigeon pose isn't just physical, it can kind of make us feel a bit impatient and a bit irritable. So notice your emotional response to this particular pose and see if you can blow out any tension or aggravation with your breath. Good. I'm going to just take one more breath here, and then very gently just press back into your hands, bring the back leg in, and gently just kind of ease yourself back into all fours. So we're just going to reverse out of that. It's a bit safer if you've got SPD just to reverse out, so we come in and out the same way. So left side, bring the left knee up behind the left wrist and just let the foot come across the body. Take your hands forward, that's really important. If we keep the hands back by the knee, we can come into a back bend, and we don't really want to do that in pregnancy. So keep your hands forward, little bend in the elbows, and then slowly walk that back leg down, taking the knee and the toes away from you as you ease your pelvis down towards the floor. Maybe taking a big breath in here can feel really lovely. Big sigh to relax into the hips, and then come down onto the forearms, finding a place where you feel supported and comfortable through your elbows. And now let's have a little play with the pelvis, maybe left to right, see how that feels, or taking the right hip, the right front of your hip forward towards the top of the mat, and then sitting into that left sitting bone, easing it towards the back of your mat. And we're hoping to feel the stretch around the outside of the left hip and thigh into the left butt cheek, but you might well feel it in all sorts of places around the pelvis, around the front of the other hip, into the inner thighs. As long as you're comfortable with that edge, anything that doesn't feel great for you, you can ease out. And we're going to drop into golden thread breath for the last few breaths here. Noticing what's arising, whether there's that emotional response If the thoughts have started to get a bit irritated or impatient, or can we just settle and meet these sensations? Maybe coming back to some of our positive affirmations. I am calm. I am present. I am quietly resting upon the ground. All is well in my world. Anything that you find useful. One more breath. And then gently easing the back leg in as you start to come up onto the hands, walking the back leg in, bringing the left leg back out. And we're going to come back onto our bottoms. So using your pillow onto our bottoms. We're going to come into easy pose with one foot in front of the other. Now, if you've got an achy pubic bone, particularly when it comes to PGP, what used to be called SPD, I'm really focusing on the pubic bone here, then you definitely want to have one leg out. If not, both legs out. That's going to be the best thing for your hips and pelvis. If you haven't got an achy pubic bone, you're fine here, opening up the pelvis, opening up the hips. Now, whichever position you chose, let's bring the hands down onto the knees and just do a few little circles here. Closing the eyes, taking a deep breath into the tummy. Allowing our weight to pour down into the hips, into the legs. Feeling heavy from the waist down and then light from the waist up. Shoulders, neck, crown of the head, all light and growing tall towards the sky. Lovely big breath into the belly. Lovely big breath out. We're going to pause and go the other way. Deep breath in, deep breath out. If you've got one leg in and one leg out, you might want to just swap them round for this. We've changed direction, so maybe you should swap your legs around as you change direction just to feel this on the opposite side. Just easing through this move, nice and gentle. Relaxing every bit of your body. The eyes closed, drawing that awareness just inwards. And coming back to center. Good, so we're going to bring our hands into prayer position at the heart. We're going to take mothering lotus today. So inhaling, opening the hands like a book. Exhaling, folding the hands into the heart, taking them out just above the head. Inhale, bring them back in and up into lotus. So hands are spread wide like a big vase. And then exhale, palms together, back down to the heart. So this one means my heart is open. I'm intuitive, connecting into my wisdom and my deep knowing. And at the same time, I'm also aware of change and that things can feel upside down and inside out in the world around me, or even just in my own mind and emotions. So I'm going to inhale to nurture and nourish myself. That might be nice baths or good company or lovely food or sitting in the sun, whatever you need to do for self-nurture. And then exhaling as the hands draw down, it's just finding that moment of acceptance and surrendering to whatever's arising in that moment of change. So even though it might feel chaotic, it might be challenging, it might be really upsetting, but even in all of those moments, there's a bit inside of us that can always find a little bit of our inner calm when we slow down and connect in. So we're going to do that a couple more times with the chant Sat Nam to finish our practice. It will look and sound something like this. Inhale to begin. Sat. Another big breath in. Nam. So Sat, S-A-T, Nam, N-A-M. Okay, so we're going to do 3 of those together. Inhaling. Sat. Nam. So try and make your sounds last as long as you can. Sat. Nam. And one more time. Really feeling into this one. Sat. And then just closing your eyes and bowing your head with the hands at the heart. Just take a few quiet sighs here. Just having a little think or feel into how you're feeling in this moment. And on another level in the back of the mind, just thinking about all the change, all the chaos around us in the world. And then actually how when we come into our little bubbles, when we focus on the reality in front of us, where our 2 feet are, what's occurring right in front of us, that actually we probably feel okay, that we're all right. We can look at the sunshine, we can sit in the garden, we can breathe in the scent of the flowers, we can enjoy a nice cup of tea. Just all those simple things that we can do just to slow everything down and nurture ourselves by coming into the present. And just setting that as your intention for the rest of the day. When you feel a bit out of sorts or triggered or not back in your center, just slow down, give yourself 5 minutes, go and have a drink of water, sit in the garden, listen to the birds, let your mind settle, focus on the baby, and just come back into the present. And you'll always find that there's something in there that kind of feels okay in the present. And then leaning into the hands, taking a few deep breaths in and out here, connecting into the ground. Taking a final sigh as you blow any worries away into the earth. And when you're ready, curling up on your left hand side for your Shavasana. So using your pillows under the head so the head's properly supported. Maybe a pillow or a soft blanket under the hips if you've had hip ache. You're all very welcome just to pop yourselves onto sofas or beds if they're nearby. If you're going to get extra padding and extra comfort, then absolutely take it. Pillows between the knees, maybe a little blanket lightly over your shoulders so you don't get cold. Sip of water, check your music's playing, socks on. All of these things just add to your comfort. Well done, everybody. So just allowing yourself to arrive down onto the earth, closing your eyes, taking a couple of golden thread breaths here, just blowing out that long exhale, maybe doing a nice low ooh, ooh. Just feeling your whole body sinking down onto the mat. So just gently moving through this practice of Yoga Nidra, this body scan practice that's now used widely in all sorts of modalities. Really helps relax your body, drop it into a parasympathetic response, so where we can truly rest and digest food and also process emotions and experiences. And across society, we all need to prioritize finding 5, 10, 20 minutes of conscious rest every day for our health and well-being. So thinking about practicing this every night before you go to sleep, playing the relaxation, helping you get off to a good sleep, or having it ready by the bed. So if you do wake up in the night, you can just press play and know that you're doing some really good work for your mind and your nervous system and your body. So we're going to allow the breath just to come and go on its own now. No need to think about it anymore. And then just feel the whole of your body resting on the ground. Notice the imprint you're making into your mat, those points of touch with the floor. Can you let your head feel just a little bit more relaxed? What has to happen for that to happen? And now notice sensations around the crown of your head. Kind of light, open, receiving. This is where we can draw in inspiration and creativity and little nuggets of wisdom and deep knowing. Just invite that all in from the crown of the head, from above you into the soft crown of the head, and then move that lovely energy down across your forehead, relaxing your eyes and your cheekbones and your jaw, teeth slightly apart, whole of the face relaxed, head a little bit heavier on the pillow. Notice the place behind the ears that can get a bit tense and soften there. And then move that lovely kind of calming energy down the neck and into the shoulders, down the arms into the elbows, down into the wrists. Feel the skin in the back of the hands, tips of the fingers, center of the palms. And on your next quiet little sigh out, feel the whole of the head and the arms and the hands completely relax. And then coming back to the neck, slowly weaving your awareness down the spine, in and out of every vertebrae, having a sense of space through the spine all the way down to the tip of the tailbone. And then feeling the skin that goes across your back. And you rest into that just a little bit more. And be aware of the back of your body. Softness in your waist and in your tummy. And then becoming aware of your babies. Visualizing them head down, head right down into the pelvis, behind the pubic bone, and their backs resting along the left side of your tummy, little bottom somewhere near the front left ribs, all curled up with little feet giving you little nudges and kicks around the right side of your waist. And just send your babies a lovely smile. Feeling of connection and welcome and love. And then moving your awareness down into the pelvis, feeling the space between the bones of the hips. Moving down into your thighs, feeling the muscles and the bones. Allow them to be a little bit more heavy. And then moving down into the knees, front of the knees, back of the knees. Down into the shins and the calves. Down into the ankles. Into the feet, the tops of the feet, the soles of the feet, and all 10 toes. And then just visualize your roots energetically going down through the building you're in, into the earth, deep down into the earth. Just tying those roots, anchoring them into the earth so you can just be wherever your 2 feet are, grounded supported, present and calm. And then just gently sending your awareness all the way back up to rest. Noticing the sensation of the skin that goes across your forehead. How does that feel? As you focus on that part of your body, and you let the rest of your body truly relax. Having a very gentle sense of awareness of your whole body, completely relaxed upon the ground. Almost having maybe a sense of floating and melting at the edges into the space you take up all around your physical body. You become aware of that energetic, subtle body. And just enjoy being in that space in between awake, in between asleep. Aware but completely relaxed. So we're going to go on a little visualization today. We're just going to start to fast forward through time, just as if you've pressed fast forward. And moving your awareness through time, through the rest of today, next week, all the different things you're going to do as fast as you can. And arriving at that moment in time when you've noticed you've gone into labour. Notice where you are, who you're with, what you're saying. And then as fast as you can, move forward in time through the labour, through the giving birth. Notice everything that you can notice. Arriving in that moment just shortly after giving birth, holding your babies, and just noticing where you are. That sense of touch as you hold your baby, the position your body's in. Use all of your senses to really be there. Notice what you can see. Notice what you can hear. Notice even what you can smell. And then notice all of those emotions that you're going to feel when you're holding your babies for the first time and looking at each other. And allow yourself to just feel all those emotions now. So you smile at your baby. And then we're going to start to move backwards through time. So as fast as you can, coming backwards through time, through the birth, coming backwards through labour, noticing all the different positions and spaces and wherever you're going to be and who you're with, and what you're doing, and come backwards through time, noticing the start of labour. And then as fast as you can, backwards through time, through the coming days, hours, minutes, all the things you're going to do. Coming backwards through all of those moments as fast as you can, all the way back to now. And just having a sense of your body resting at the end of your yoga practice. We're going to do that little journey one more time. So as fast as you can, moving forwards through time, through the days, the hours, all the things you're going to do, moving forwards through time, the start of labour, as quickly through labour as you can, through giving birth, and arriving in that amazing moment, just shortly after you've given birth, holding your babies, feeling all those incredible feelings, just being aware that that's that next chapter now that's beginning. Enjoying that moment, noticing the sense of touch. What do you feel on your skin, in your hands? Notice the sounds that you can hear nearby and all around you. Notice where you are and who you're with. Make it the best possible version of giving birth that you can imagine. So if there's things that you've had pop into your mind that you want to upgrade, now's your chance to just edit it and make it the best possible version of giving birth and meeting your baby that you can imagine. Ask that version of yourself if she has any advice for you, anything that you need to know about the journey ahead to help you have that best possible version of birth. Notice what she says, thank her for it. Enjoy that moment one more time as you feel all those emotions. And then as fast as you can, coming backwards through time, through the best possible version of giving birth, through labour, through the best possible version of labour, feeling safe and secure, trusting your body, knowing your body and your baby work perfectly in harmony with each other. Coming backwards through all the days and hours that you're going to do as you come up towards labour, all the normal day-to-day things, letting them all float through your mind and making these next few weeks the best possible version that you can. Coming backwards through time, all the way back to now, having a sense of resting on the floor, on your mat, at the end of your yoga practice. Let your mind settle. Feel the touch of your body on the ground. Notice the sense of the skin across your forehead. Let yourself rest there. Let the thoughts fade away. Feel the sensation of the breath coming into your body and going. Tip of the nose, into the ribs, into the tummy. And then start to deepen the breath, taking in a deeper inhale and a deeper exhale. Inhaling and exhaling. Really feel your body upon the ground. Breathing that inhale all the way to the babies, sending them a little smile, knowing that you're both on this journey together. Let your baby know that you're going to be right there with them every step of the way. And likewise, from this great soul that's coming in, acknowledge how they're going to be there for you, energetically holding your hand every step of the way. And as you take your next deep breath in, just send them another smile and a feeling of love. And feel that connection with them as you begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Maybe having a little stretch as you invite some movement into the body. Noticing now what you can hear around you, in your space, in your house, outside, on the road, in the garden. Opening the eyes, what do you see nearby and far away? As you gently look around, feeling your body resting on the ground, coming back into the here and now. When you're ready, ladies, we're going to take a lovely big inhale. Lovely big stretch, wiggle those fingers and toes. Roll over onto the left side a little bit more so you can press into the hands and carefully spiral yourselves back up into a seated position. So either coming into easy pose, maybe with the opposite leg in front, or just looking after your hips and pelvis with one leg out if you've got an achy pubic bone. We're going to finish today's session with one Om. So sitting up nice and tall, take a deep breath in. And with your hands in prayer, head bowed, just notice how you feel as you close out your practice. Take this feeling with you into the rest of the day. And to each other we say namaste. Namaste, everybody. Namaste. Well done, everyone. That was a really lovely practice. So let's see how you're all doing.